go. Guys and girls. Ladies, gentlemen. Okay, so we are rolling on. What we've been doing the last few days is figuring out what's called a sample space. When we do probability, it is the bottom number. It is all of our choices, all the choices we can come up with. But that's not what probability is. Probability, look, we'll probably learn new stuff. Probability is the, and you're going to write it right on your notes here, likelihood that a specific event will occur, right? Now, there's two types of probability that we talk about in real life. We talk about theoretical probability, and we talk about experiential probability. And here's what's interesting. We use theoretical probability to help us make good decisions, but probability is always a little dicey. And let me show you what I mean by that. If I'm playing pig with you guys, maybe on Friday, I've got that dice. It's got a 1 on it, and it's got 5 other numbers. So what we'll realize is every time I roll that dice, there is a 1 out of 6 chance that I will roll a 1. So theoretically, if I roll 6 times, one of them should be the number 1. But as we all know, as we've sat our butts on the desks before, I've rolled like 9 or 10 times and no 1 came up. So that's experiential probability, where it kind of should happen, versus theoretical, where we're doing the math for it. But here's what's interesting. The two types merge the more you do something. So if I roll a dice 6 times, I should, in theory, roll each number, right? Because 1 out of 6.
If you roll 1,000 times,
I will get close to it. And if I roll 1,000,000 times, I will get really close to it, right? But usually in life, we don't do things enough to always get to the theoretical probability. So next year, for my seniors who are going to take statistics in college, or for some of my juniors who might be taking it this summer, they'll talk about that. So here's what we need to know. These are the important things for tonight. Tonight is very easy. You got to know how many total things. That is our sample space. That's what we've been doing. And tomorrow we will do permutations and combinations. So today, very easy. And on top is the number of things I want. This is what I want to happen, right? How many options are the things that I want? Probability always becomes between 0 and 1. There is either a 0% chance it will rain all the way to a 1. And now 1, not percent, like a solid 1. But here's what I need you guys to know. So Thomas, I want probability to be meaningful in this class. And here's what. The meaningful numbers are not decimals, and they're not fractions, they're percentages. And here's why. Our brain does really well with understanding a percentage, right? So we have, we're going to do a problem a little bit, and we're going to get 5 out of 16. And I would say, is that a good bet? And that's hard for us to figure out. It's like, I don't know, maybe that's a good bet, maybe that's not. But if I change this into 31%, that's a lot easier for our brain to take a look at it. So, 31% chance of something happening, yeah, I'm not going to bet on that, because that's not great, right? But our brain doesn't do well with this. Will it be wrong on a test if you keep it in decimals or you keep it as a fraction? Not if it's simplified, but all of the answers I give tonight are going to be in percentages, because I believe that probability works best in percentages. Okay, let's try some. You guys ready? Nice and easy, but they get weird really fast. So here we go. We're going to have a little spinner. There he is, a nice little spinner, and I'm going to actually make this bigger. So here we go. We got a nice little spinner happening. Get big here, dude. And I am going to start like this. I want to know what's the probability certain things are going to happen. Now, we're doing easy probability tonight, called simple probability. we have just one spin, right? So we're not spinning a bunch of times. So on all of our problems tonight, we're going to spin the little dial, and there are 16 numbers that can land us. So what are the options on the bottom? 16. Our job tonight will be to say, okay, how many options are something I want to happen? So the spinner is spun once, and I want the probability that I'm going to land on a multiple of 3. So our job will simply be to get up here and count how many multiples of 3 there are. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to write that as 5 over 16, and that is 31%. So could you do me the next problem? Bother yourself with your neighbors. What is the probability you will hit a prime number? What's a prime number? A number that is only divisible by the number 1. Like 1 and 2, 3, 5, 2, because the only number that goes in 2 is 1. Itself and 1. 1, yes. Yes.
With 2 in the front. Yeah. 7. Because 2 times 1 or 2 is only 1 that goes in. 2 times 1. It's only itself.
Itself and the number itself and 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Did I hear someone say 44%? You are awesome. You are awesome. Oh, I like this next one. Be careful on it. It can be even or it can be greater than 5. So I want you to count all the even ones and all the numbers that are greater than 5, but be careful if you get duplicates, right? So here's what I'm going to do on this one. I'm going to start by counting all of my even numbers, right? That's an even number. 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 And that's an even number. And that's an even number. Or it can also be bigger than 5. So I've got to add in some numbers. I'm not going to count 6 because I've already counted him, but I'm going to add in 7, 9, 11, 13, and 15. So I'm going to get all of those. Does that make sense? Now, here's what's interesting. I can count all of those numbers, or it might be easier for me simply to say 16, take away, and is both. 16, take away 3. So 13. So or is going to be counting is both. No. And means that and is where they overlap. And is overlap. Or is everything.
And would mean it's only even numbers.
Yeah, so we're going to do one of those. Let's do D. Let's talk about that. Okay, good question. Or means everything counts. And is the overlap, right? So let's say that one more time. Or means everything that meets the guidelines, but don't double it. And means only the overlap. So let's do D. Let's take a look at D. Here's what's going to have to happen on D. It's got to be odd, and it's got to be 9 or less. So this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to do all my odd ones. Here are all my odd. I'm going to get all my odd ones in here. And then they also have to be 9 or less. So I'm going to get rid of all the ones that are like that. So it's where they overlap. Does that make sense? So they must be odd, and the most they can be is 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have to think on these ones. They're a little bit tricky. Let's try the next one. Let's slide down here. We're going to do the next 2. I like these ones. You've got a pencil box. So the first thing I want you to do with your neighbors, just count how many freaking pencils are in your pencil box. Because that's your sample space. That goes on the bottom. Count them all up. Not to run down the
I don't have a copy of 7.
I'm protecting me. Okay, so here's what I got. I've got 30 pencils, but I want to know what's the probability I don't pick a yellow. So I can count all the ones that aren't yellow, or what I could do is take the yellow ones, 3 of them, and subtract them from the total. I think that's quicker. So I'll be honest. If I said, would you make a bet on that? That's like, I don't know, is that a good thing? But watch what happens when I change it to a percent. 90%, you absolutely would bet on that. Our brain has an easier time valuing this than valuing this. It just does. It just does. Try the next one. I need you to be careful on this one. I want you to think about adding these all up, that you're going to have an ace or a diamond, but be careful. There is a little overlap there. There's something that's an ace and a diamond. Don't count it too many times. There are 13, that's what we talked about the other day. 13 cards in it as diamonds. But one of them is already an ace. 52 cards. I'm going to have 13 diamonds. I'm going to have 4 aces. But I got to take out the ace of diamonds. I got to take him out. So 16 over 52, which is about 31%. Love that. Are we good? We feeling it? Okay. The next one I want to try is this one. I love this one. I am going to ask you to do these 4, 5 on your own while I wander around, aimlessly wandering around. Let's be careful. The first thing we want to know is how many people are in my class. It is very tempting for me to say that there are 21 people in my class. I got 8 and 6 and 7.
What's the 4?
The 4 are 4 weirdos in my class that neither have a job or a license. Add those in. So 25 people in class.
Yes, I do, bro. Have you started your job? I started the 14th. Yeah, but you don't have a job. You don't have a job, bro.
25. 25. 25. 25. 25. Check with each other. Multiply that top number by 4, and that's going to give you the percent. Because I just changed that 25 into 100.
What's and or both? And is they have both, or is they can either? So, or is the 1 to 4 6? And is 6. That's what I put. So it's or 15.
How we feeling? We feeling we got answers that we like? Are we ready to take a look at this? So here's what I got. If you got a part-time job, you're this entire circle, the whole thing. There are 14 of you if you've got a part-time job. Yay for you. That is a total of 52%. No driver's license. Guess what? That's going to be these 4 losers and these 8 losers. They don't have a driver's license. So it is 12 up here, and it would be 48%. Part-time job and a driver's license, you are both. You are the overlap. You're the overlap, and is overlap. So 6 or 24%. Careful on the next one. Here we go. I want nice quiet for me. Part-time job or a driver's license. I'm adding in everyone, but be careful don't add in the overlap twice. So you either can do it as this way, 8 plus 6 plus 7, that works great, or you can say 14 plus 7. I don't care how you do it, just be careful. You don't count the 6 twice. Don't count the 6 2 times, right? So it's going to be 21, or is everybody? And that's going to be that's 84%. And finally, love the last one. You have a driver's license, but you don't, and you don't have a part-time job. So you have to have a driver's license. You're these people, you have a driver's license, but no part-time job. What I'm going to do? I'm going to get rid of these guys. So it is 7. It is 7.
Wait, oh, I got 7. I think. Are
we good? We got one last thing to do and I'm shutting up. Let me finish. Almost done. So close. We're going to skip ahead. We're going to skip these ones. We're going down to these bad boys. Oh my gosh. A little 7th grade geometry with pre-calc. Yum. Delicious. Let's remind ourselves a couple things though. How do we find the area of a rectangle? It is base times height. How do we find the area of a triangle? It is base times height times 1/2. How do we find the area of a circle? It is pi r squared, and pi is 3.14. Do I think you need anything else for these problems tonight? I don't. Again, 7th grade, here we go. So Thomas, when he's not studying his little heart out, he works at a place called Battle Axe in San Luis Obispo. Go see him. It's an axe throwing place, and if you haven't ever done an axe throwing thing, so fun. I thought I couldn't do it, and it turns out I'm really good at it. So imagine you go to the axe throwing place, and you don't suck. You don't hit the hay bales or anything. You land in the area you're supposed to land in. So this is the area that you're supposed to land in. But let's say Battle Axe offers a very special thing that if you can get it in this area right here, just in this area, they will give you a $25 gift certificate, right? So my question is, what is the chances, what is the probability you're going to be able just to hit the triangle? How do we do that? We do that exactly like we've done the other problems. We take the entire option, right? The whole thing, the whole rectangle is on the bottom. That's where you might hit it. And we want to know what are the options just to get it in the triangle. So it's nice and easy. It's triangle on top of rectangle. So let's do it. Rectangle, so easy. We are going to just go 23 times 11. And I think you should get 253. To get the triangle up here, it's 1/2 base times height, which is 1/2 of 11 times 8, which is 88 cut in half, or 44. So the question to you guys is, what are the chances that Battle Axe is going to have to pay you? What's the probability that they're going to have to pay you? Don't give me 44 over 253. That doesn't mean anything to me. Yeah, about 17% of the time, they're going to have to pay people off. That seems high to me. That seems pretty good. Right? Okay, this next one I want you to try for yourself. Let me show you. We're going to do, imagine now, this time, they are going to make it trickier for you.
8 times 11.
They're going to say, hey, you have to hit it in these corners and not in the big bullseye circle. So what we're going to start with on the bottom is the whole square. And then on the top, what we're going to do is I just want those corners. So I'm going to do the square, take away the circle, because what will be left is just the corners. Does that make sense? Let me draw it out for you, what it's going to look like, and you're going to do the math. We're going to do the whole square. That's all of this. Then up here, we're going to do square. minus circle, because that will equal just the corners. That's what you'll get. You'll get the little corners. You'll get the little corners. There it is. Give it a try. That's a horrible drawing.
You actually needles. That's the only thing you got needles to suck. You got to stay with you.
Does it not seem like this should have been higher?
Yeah, that's why I was confused why I was like,
No, it doesn't, but it is. I think that's right. I think if you took all those and layered them all together, it would be right along here.
yeah.
You know what? I am on a video. And you know what? Because he's a lovely person who works really hard. I go, wow, stop. So there we go. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to get 64 on the bottom. And here's where it's going to get tricky. 64 minus, we're going to be careful. We don't use 8. We use 4 for the radius squared. So it is 3.14 times 16. So here I go. 3.14, huh?
Isn't the radius 4?
The 4 squared, pi r squared, times 16. So here I go, 64, take away 50.24. 64 minus 50.24.
He said he couldn't make it today. It honestly better. Less people better though.
So I'm going to stop everyone. One last thing. Last thing I'm going to say. Here's where it's important. Here's where it's important to know probability, because our eyes lie to us. I don't think there is anyone in the world, if these were us, honest to God, at Battle Axe, and you said, pick which one is going to give you the better chance of getting the money, we all would have picked this one, because that looks bigger. But it turns out, getting it in these corners, percentage-wise, you've got a better chance, which is why we do probability, because our eyes cannot always be trusted. I am done. Get a phone out. Get your phone out. Take a picture. Here are your answers. Goodbye, people who are I'm recording. I'm leaving it up for the recording people. Take a picture. Take a picture.
I don't understand how white people can last to first. Justin. And green tea. No. Blue. I won. Remember when I won? Yeah, David won. David won and Tyler won. We all wore blue, and somehow white and green both passed us.
5 people